25.
Good
Look, our
morning.
cups are even kind of blue.
They are. Good morning. Well,
Good
hello.
morning. Hello, and good morning.
Welcome to Universe Tinkering. I'm John.
And I'm Jennifer, and this is a channel that we created that we dedicated to playing and tinkering with all things law of attraction.
And we're doing a 31-day Change Your Energy, Change Your Life challenge. And for this challenge, we're getting up a little bit early. We're picking a fun activity that will change the energy for the day.
We sure are, and this is an original idea of ours. And just to give you a little bit of background on it, we started meditating with a Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's now about 2 months ago, maybe even 2.5 months ago that we started doing it, and we were getting great results with meditation. We had never really been in the practice of meditation before. We were complete newbies, and we just sort of stumbled into it. And for some reason, we did it a couple of times, and we decided, hey, let's keep doing it because it just felt great. And before we knew it, we were meditating regularly, morning, midday, and night, pretty much by clockwork, and just really seeing results as far as lowering stress, minimizing stressful, overall negative thoughts. And we were like, hey, we're onto something. We were familiar with the law of attraction before, but now this is a new level of being familiar. So we're jumping into learning from different teachers, and Dr. Joe Dispenza is definitely one that we are diving into of his content. He has seminars, he has meditations, he has books, lots of content, and we will happily link everything in the description box below for you to find all things Joe Dispenza. When it came to, after kind of getting our thoughts a little bit more aligned with how we'd like to create our future, we were really inspired to take some action. So that's what this challenge is. It's taking a little bit of action after having a lot of great results mentally. And that action is aligned with what we want to create in our lives, which is fun, which is vibrant energy, and we wanted to almost kind of fall back in love with the little things in life, or at least remind ourselves of how much we love those little things in life.
Yeah.
And so we decided to get up early and do something, a little activity before our day starts. And these activities are light, they're simple, they don't cost anything. It's usually stuff that we already have around the house. It might even be something that we've done before or something that we've never done before. And the idea is just to keep it simple enough to where we look forward to it just enough to kind of motivate us to do it. And we've been doing it now for 24 days. This is day 25. So we're now in the mode where we don't need that much motivation because we're feeling the energy. We're feeling it coming. We no longer have to kind of rip ourselves out of bed. We're now at the point where we're jumping out of bed.
Yeah, this morning I woke up a few minutes before the alarm went off, and it used to be when that happened, I would kind of like roll my eyes a little bit and be like, oh man, like I wanted every minute, every juicy minute of sleep, right? And it went off, and I just, the first thing that popped into my head was grab those headphones, get started on that meditation, get started on this good morning, and I did, and it's feeling great.
Yeah, we wake up, we do a quick meditation, like 15-20 minutes. We do quick showers, and then we get ready for the camera.
Yeah. Pop out here, set up some lights.
Yep.
Pour some tea and coffee
and get our own energy up. So because it is the morning time, we want our energy to go through to the camera to you. So we do a little warm up and get excited, and it's been such a great experience. With that, let's jump into, we're also making a record of, how do we feel? This is a challenge. The challenge is we do a simple activity for 31 days before our day is started, and we want to change our energy. And with that meaning, we want to feel more lighthearted. We want to feel more positivity. We want to feel more excitement, more patience, more appreciation. probably list on words for a very long time, but we all kind of have those lists of words of the things that we want more of, and we're all kind of in common with these words that we want more of. And so energy just means an overall positive, balanced, forward thinking energy that feels creative and powerful. And that's exactly what we're getting. But it's important that we slow down, because we are wanting to share with you our observations as we're being enlightened, as we're becoming more aware, more conscious, and as we're learning through these amazing teachers that are already out there. We'd like to share out what we're learning as well. We do believe that we don't have all the right answers, but we believe that we have what's right for us. And sometimes watching someone be successful with what's right for them can at least help you take that next first step with what's right for you. And that's why we're sharing out our story and our experience as vulnerable as we can, as raw and in the moment, that we're coming across these feelings and thoughts in the intention to help you on your journey. And so that's why we slow down and really talk about what's going on in our heads and our bodies. So observations from day 24, so from yesterday. You want to start us off?
Yeah. I've been getting this sense of a little bit of an illustration, and I feel like it would be great to share it to help maybe illustrate what I'm feeling. And basically it's this, that inside of me there used to be a lot of different little auto programs. I refer to them as tenants. Like, imagine you're a multi-family building, right? And you've got different sections going on. Maybe you sexualize different compartments of your life, your work, your family, maybe your hobbies. And in those different sections, in those different, apartments, if you will, you've got different tenants. And those tenants, they do their thing to keep that that particular place alive. And when I started this, I really feel now like those tenants all were doing different things, and they were doing different things to the point where it was not helpful to me. And it manifested in a way that I felt a little bit more like if I had a thought, it would start kind of ping-ponging around inside of my head. So maybe part of this program would try to take a stab at it, and then this part of the program would try to take a stab, and then it would kind of bounce around, right? And now through this meditation, I'm getting this sense that all of these different tenants are being slowly replaced. It's like I'm upgrading their hardware. Their leases are expiring maybe, and it's time for them to move out, and the people that are moving in are faith. And with that sense of faith comes a specific vibration. And as those tenants are all becoming that single faith, the vibration is unifying and becoming stronger. There's no longer these moments where the waves are 2 + 2 is 4, and then maybe a -2 wave and a +2 wave is just bouncing out to 0, right? I'm feeling like there's a continuous vibration happening that is cohesive and allows me to have those thoughts. Think of it as like we've probably a little bit more familiar with this recently because we have a 2-year-old, but the idea of putting oil into water, if you take a Ziploc bag and you fill it halfway with water and oil, and you kind of shake it vigorously.
It was just to clarify, it's a little like toddler activity. You put food coloring in a bag, you put water and oil and like some little shapes and stuff. A little fun sensory
to explore and play, right?
Game, yeah.
Yeah, and so when you do that, all of the oil breaks apart into the water, into these tiny little bubbles, and if you leave it for a period of time, what happens is
the bag breaks in your closet and you have a mess, which I had to clean up. Sorry.
When you leave it, what happens is all of those little bubbles start to come together. And as they come together, boop, two bubbles become one bigger bubble, which settle into another bubble. Boop, gets a little bigger. Boop, gets a little bigger. Boop. And before you know it, you've got that single blob of oil floating in the water again. And that is where I am headed. That is the feeling that I have, is that all of that oil, which was shaken up and scattered into pieces, is now, because I have this calm vibration, this faith, I've given up the desire, to try to control things. That's something that was in the past. It is in the past. And because of this sense of calmness, that oil and that unifying faith is coming together, and I'm repeating myself for the purpose of hoping that my illustration is resonating with you. And it's amazing, and I'm glad I got to share that feeling, and I'm looking forward to seeing just how much this comes together and how much that faith really impacts things.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to share your definition of faith, but I'll share mine. So, and we might be similar into it, but I think faith is different for everybody, and faith can be a little bit of a sensitive word. People can have really positive feelings towards it. They might have negative feelings towards it.
Feelings that were maybe from growing up. From
different people using that word. I think the important thing is picking a word that makes sense to you. It may be aligned, it may be connected, it may be open, it may be allowing. I think they all kind of go into the same definition of faith. But recently I've become more comfortable with using the word faith, simply because I feel like I have faith now, and so I have more understanding of it. I have a more personal understanding of it. And the understanding of it is a faith that I am supported, and a faith that someone has my back, a faith that the universe is on my side, the faith that the universe wants only love and happiness. The faith is that the universe is thriving and working from love and happiness. And, it's just this feeling of someone else is caring for you, and so you don't have to work that hard at trying to control, at least in your thoughts, trying to manipulate, problem solve, think about different ways to make effort. You can kind of just let that all melt away and just have fun with the fun thought of whatever you're thinking about, and you can just sort of leave all the really hard work to the universe, because the universe loves you, and you believe it, and you know it, and you feel it, and you feel connected to the universe, source, divinity, God, whatever word feels true and empowering to you. And again, words are very powerful, but it's all about how they vibrate to you, because however they vibrate is how we've assigned them in our subconscious or in our past. And sometimes, just like with me, faith is now a word that I am comfortable using, and that I like to use, and that I have. So one kind of note about, faith in general. But my observation is not about faith at all. My observation is about getting things, manifestations, thoughts to things, the popular kind of, when most people turn to the law of attraction, that is like the thing that draws you to it, right? It's the rest of the stuff, faith and love, that's the real juicy, that's the real gift, that's the real stuff. But the manifestations are fun. They're fun, light things. And especially when we can get them with the faith and with the love, that's really, really cool. So the manifestations I have to share with you are, they're simple, but again, I feel like manifestations are little signs of that connection to your faith, of that connection to your source, to the universe, to your God, whatever it is. It's just fun little things that say like, hey, keep it up, And I'll share two. So one is that we did not have a tree skirt, so a skirt that goes around the bottom of your Christmas tree this year. Last year we used a white sheet and it looked like snow, so this year...
We made do.
Yeah, we made do. And this year I'm like, I started fantasizing about an actual tree skirt. Do I want it to be fur or kind of like burlap, what kind of, do I want a farm feel? Do I want an antique feel? So I had really fun with the ideas. And then I started thinking about going out in the world and buying one, and it didn't sound fun. It didn't sound fun going out and parking and, asking, hey, where are the tree skirts? Last year we actually asked and couldn't find one in the store. So I think I'm bringing up past experiences of not having an easy time finding a tree skirt. And I pretty much said, you know what? I'm gonna let this go. I'm gonna let that fly away, and I'm gonna just put another sheet on the bottom of it. And as I was putting on the sheet, I was like, hey, this may not be the one I was envisioning, but it's fun. So I appreciated what I was still putting around the tree. And shortly thereafter, I would say maybe a week after, my mom texts me and sends a picture of a tree skirt and says, hey, we no longer want this, we no longer need this. Before I throw it away, do you want it? And she was throwing it away because they had set up a Christmas tree that had a bunch of beautiful little ornaments of birds on it, and they have 2 cats and a huge dog, and all 3 animals just wouldn't let this thing alone, would not stop attacking it, eating the birds, knocking it over. And so literally they were just like, okay, this bird tree is done, our ornaments are half eaten, the tree is broken, and the tree skirt around it is old and falling apart anyways. So that was their thought process. When she sent the picture of the tree skirt over to me, it's actually the tree skirt that I grew up with. So it's special to me because it's old, and I like old things. My mom has a tendency to like newer things, and that's great. I love new things too, but I have a connection with nostalgia a little bit more than my mom does. And so the fact that she was just like, hey, you want this? A family heirloom that's beautiful and cool and that you've been wanting.
Quilted and stitched,
has little buttons on it. It has this little farm feeling that I was wanting, hand done, and it's so beautiful. And I was just like, wow, how easy was that? I didn't first remember the tree skirt, so it was like, hey, you remember this?
Surprise,
it was a
delight.
surprise, and I couldn't have created it better myself in my head. And so it was free, special. The design was better than anything I could have sat down and figured out on my own, and it came almost instantly, right? Like about a week.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's under our tree right now, and it feels super, super special.
Yeah.
More special than anything from Amazon.
Would you say that part of that was due to the fact that you lovingly put that white sheet under there, that there was that placeholder for that tree skirt to go?
I think so, yeah. I think it was because I made best of what we had, and I honestly appreciated what we had. But then I feel like it was the ability to dream a little bit about the tree skirt and to get excited about it, but then almost after 10 minutes of dreaming about a tree skirt, just being like, I think that was the big piece of just getting excited and being like, not my job, So this is a new feeling.
Some faith.
There's lots of faith, right? There's lots of faith. It's but whether I recognized in the moment that I was having faith and whether I recognized that I'm going to get the tree skirt, I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that I knew for sure I was going to get a tree skirt, but I can tell you somewhere deep down I trusted that I would have the tree skirt I always wanted, and it would be better than I could have thought of. That is like the underlining deep root. My conscious thoughts weren't quite there, but the belief was, and I think that was also what really helped, because I did believe it would come. So there's an easiness to it, and there's a kind of like an ignorance to it also that is kind of plays a game. But you know, I dreamt, I let it go, I appreciated what I had, and poof, the tree skirt showed up. The next one is similar. I won't go into too much detail because it's a super similar story. And this happened the day before yesterday, just to kind of keep track of when these manifestations are happening. I really wanted new flannel sheets, a fitted flannel sheet for our son's room. Our son's room, he has a crib, but he also has a full-size bed of which we cuddle. You know, we kind of do books, we do bottles, and then once he falls asleep or it's ready for bedtime, then he gets transferred into the crib. So the bed is a special place that none of us really sleep in, but it's a big like cuddle station. And being that it's winter, I had this dream that we'd have some flannel on it, something a little bit softer, warmer, cozier. So I got that initial kind of want in that dream. And then of course, since we're not all leaving the house as much, I went on Amazon, and I couldn't find just a fitted sheet on Amazon that was flannel, just the fitted sheet. It was all these sheet sets, and we already had pillowcases that I loved, and we don't use like a sheet as a cover. And so I'm like, we just need the fitted sheet. And a lot of these sets were $50 plus. And so I'm like, wow, that's really expensive for just wanting to use the fitted sheet in the set, you know, not really needing or wanting the other two things. And I was kind of imagining some sort of checkered pattern, maybe blue, maybe a cream or something like that. That would be really fun to fit his sort of woodsy theme in his room without being too literal, you know, without throwing like owls and bears on it, you know, just kind of give a little feel to it. So again, it's something that I shopped for, kind of failed at finding on Amazon, and again, just sort of threw it out the window, just sort of like, nah, I tried. But the dream was still alive. The feeling of being warm and cozy was still alive. So I guess then thereafter, every time that I got into his bed with him, or we all three got to get all cozy, I almost kind of felt like it was already there, that was there, or that it would be there. And again, this was like a deep underlining just feeling. It was less of like a forward conscious thought, but more of like a feeling. And I think it just helps getting into that bed, having those loving family memories, and then of course now adding this feeling of warmth with our awesome new sheets that haven't arrived yet. So fast forward to needing to go out into the world to get one little Christmas sweater for the baby. We realized that he didn't have a Christmas sweater for Christmas, anything red, anything, you know, a little bit more festive, but a little bit more dressed up. So I ventured out in the world to have a goal of one Christmas sweater. So as soon as I walk into the store, there's this huge display of flannel sheet sets. And I go, wow, that's pretty cool. Like the first time I really go back into the world of shopping, there they are. And better yet, they're half off. And so I kind of initially say, oh yeah, that was something that I wanted, you know? And I'm like, that's really cool. And then I still go beeline for the sweater, right? And as I'm beelining for the sweater, I go like, wait a minute. Like this is the gift. This is the opportunity. Those are the sheets.
You noticed it for a reason.
I noticed it for a reason. So I go back, I pick out this really cute gingham pattern, and again, I'm like, this is cute. I think it will look good. Even still in the store, I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't like 100%. I was still like, I don't know how they feel because I haven't opened them and washed them, and I don't know how the pattern looks in his room, but I'm like, I think this is what was meant to come to me. They're $20 for, and it was a set, so pillowcases, fitted sheet, and the loose sheet. So we get them home, you instantly throw them in the washer, you get them on the bed magically before I even think about it, so it's like a fun surprise. It's like a romantic fun surprise. And so I walk into the room, and it is perfect. So again, better than any design, feeling, softness I could have imagined or fathomed in my brain. These sheets are better than that. It fits so into the room, our woodsy theme. It's a soft gingham. It's not the hard lines, which I wasn't sold on the hard lines in my head, but I couldn't think of what else. And so I brought home the perfect thing, half off, right before Christmas, right before cozy time. Today is actually Christmas Eve. And so 2 really cool manifestations that mean a lot, are super special, and just kind of effortlessly showed up at our door. And this is how I want to manifest. It's easy, it's fun. And so I'm learning this feeling. Again, I think I'm stumbling into this. I'm not saying I've perfected it. I'm not saying I'm, again, going to manifest that Ferrari. I don't even really want a Ferrari. But you get the sentiment.
She said she wanted a Ferrari. Did you hear it?
Ferrari, Ferrari, Ferrari. It wouldn't be a bad thing. It would kind of be fun. Here I go manifesting again. Ferrari, whoosh. But the idea is that I'm learning, I'm becoming aware of how I'm doing it, and I'm having fun along the way. And I think that's a big piece of how to manifest. How to get used to that feeling, manifestations with the help of the universe, by having faith.
Great stories.
I did it.
Well, today is day 25, as we mentioned, and we started a day before the beginning of December, so that as we kind of played these through on the internet, that it would line up with the days in December. And it's Christmas Eve for us on day 25, so that's very exciting. And we looked around for a little activity this morning that would surprise and delight, and we came across a pile of pipe cleaners. So we're gonna make some ornaments and just do some fun little, maybe make some creatures, I don't know. Just play with some pipe cleaners. We got a pile of pipe cleaners.
Have no rules. Creativity is our helper, and our imagination, and we're just gonna see what comes of it, put it on the tree, and and have fun with it.
Yeah. Well, let's do this.
Let's go play with pipe cleaners.
Well, thank you for joining us. This has been a lot of fun. Not sure what half of this stuff is, but I'm sure that this is a wreath.
This is like a little bit of a crown, I think.
Maybe this is a little scarf.
Mm-hmm. Boing, boing.
A boingy thing. That'll be fun to play with.
Boing, boing.
We really appreciate you guys being here with us today.
Almost fell.
We appreciate you joining us this morning. It's been a lot of fun. Please subscribe to stay connected to our content, and a thumbs up will help share it out. Thanks again, and happy tinkering.
Bye.
Bye.